Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 50 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Alright, world download episode. Nice. You guys get to play around that frame mining machine. And by the way, speaking of the frame mining machine, I've already seen a bunch of people on Twitter and Reddit and like a couple other people saying like, dude, that's cool. And they've, made some tweaks and changes, have done things a little differently. A couple people just like expanded it. So if you guys haven't seen some of those, definitely check them out. But I've seen people that had this like 64 blocks long. I had people doing it with routers I've seen. I've seen people doing it just, slight variations on this theme. But it seems like you guys really liked the mining machine. So I'm really glad for that, honestly, because, it was a new style of doing it. And, I really liked the way it turned out in the end. So I'm happy everybody, had such positive responses to it. But of course, now that we have this new mining machine, we need to store large amounts of items. And I think that I'm going to have a new way of doing that. Now, a lot of people have suggested I use applied energistics, and that's not a bad idea, honestly. I like applied energistics, and it's a cool mod, and it does feel like the appropriate time to start getting into it. However, it's not part of the pack just yet. It will be added probably the next time the pack updates, and when that happens, maybe we'll look into doing an applied energistics system at some point. But for now, I am going to go with a different form of barrel sorting system. You guys have seen me do like a pretty straightforward and I don't want to say boring, but kind of boring barrel sorting system already. I want to get away from that and do something a little bit more customized, a little bit more organized, and a little bit more complex. But in the end, I think it's going to be really nice looking and work out really well. So how about I get ready to start off with this barrel sorting system that I have in mind. I think I need to grab out of a bag here something to break barrels with, because I know I have a bunch outside that I need. Let's see, do I have just like a normal axe in here? No, I guess not. If I do, I just didn't see it. Cool. All right, so I will go outside. There's a bunch of barrels out here that I had, laid down and, we're messing with. Probably just going to make some more. Give me that barrel. And I'll be back in a few. Alright guys, ready to start working on this room. You can see I've already just kind of cleared out and I'm starting to put together in my head the way I want this thing to work out. And I think it's going to be actually a really cool design. And it's going to allow me to do something a little later down the line that will hopefully be really neat. But for now, I'm not going to get into that. First I'm going to show you, did you know you can pick up chests with the gravity gun? Oh yeah. And they will maintain their internal inventory. So, drop down that chest there and boom, all the stuff is still inside. Awesome. So I am going to be moving all this stuff out of the way, just courtesy of the portal gun. This is a somewhat, I don't want to say like super new, but new enough change to portal gun. I think it was like a version or two back that iTunes added this, and it really is cool. It's something I've been kind of like bugging him for, and he's like, oh man, that's hard. And I'm like, please? Because, being able to pick up chests and maintain their inventory, oh dude. It's so good. So that's a big part of, the portal gun, one of the updates from a little bit ago. Nice. So I'll be moving this stuff out of the way, and this will allow me to start expanding this room a little bit. So I'm just moving everything that's in here for now, for the time being at least. And we can put this guy like right over here. Sure, why not? Haha, he stored his inventory too. That's, oh man, so cool. All right. So I'm going to move this stuff out, and I'm going to dig through the wall here. And of course, nighttime is probably not the best time to do this. So I'm going to want to clean up and, sleep through the night. But what I plan to do is at least expand the room outwards so that I can store more in the room. So let's see what we can come up with here. We're going to need to expand this at least a little bit further than it already is. So give me a few minutes. I'll expand this room now that I've moved these, items out of the way, the chests, and I'll be back in a few. Alright guys, how's that look? Nice. Alright, so this room will be full of barrels, but it won't be like the barrel systems I built in the past. We're going to have them all along the walls here and here, but hopefully it's going to be a little bit smoother and a little bit easier to interact with. So, I think the best way to start working with this is to move these guys out of the way. I'm going to start on this wall, and I'm thinking I'm going to have, like, the entrance to the room is where I'm going to have, like, the more common items that I want. On the right side is going to be, like, the not so important items, like like the gravel and the cobble, like the common, not, expensive stuff. While on the left side of the room, we're going to have the, more expensive things like metals and dusts and that stuff. And, the more often I want to use it, the closer to the entrance it'll be, so that when I want to like run around and build stuff, that'll be cool. I might even try and get some, items in here to start crafting with. So I could have like, the project tables in here, or I could have this nifty little gadget, the fabricator right here. Like we could have just a couple things in there to interact with, but we'll see how that goes. Ooh, I better light up this room too. That was something else I forgot to do. You know what? I'm gonna light this place up with wrath lamps. I'm tired of torches. Torches are boring. So let's take a look at wrath lamps and see what I need to make them, right? Silver, dark iron, and that wrath igniter. Okay, I should have that. You and a little bit of silver. And I'm gonna grab the whole stack of dark iron because I'm gonna need it in a minute here. Now the wrath igniter is probably in one of these chests. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Was that glass panes or... yeah, it is. That's a pane. Glass panes are like those things I never have on me. Glass, typically yes. Panes, no. That's okay. There we go. Might want to make two. We'll just go with one for now. See how it does. Will this light the entire room? Good question. I think it might. Yeah, it pretty much does. So one wrath lamp, enough for this giant room, which is good. It's 15 blocks across, by the way. So yeah, wrath lamp will definitely cover that much space. Good stuff. All right, I will now show you guys the machine that's going to be the core of everything we're making here, and it's called the router. Now, if you guys haven't checked out the router from Factorization, it's awesome. It does require a few things, though. Specifically, need some eggs and some Eye of Ender and some Ender Pearls. I think I know where I can get some eggs. Better sleep through the night. Oh yes, I knew there was a reason I had a whole lot of eggs building up in here. Haha. So routers are going to be an important part of this build. Now, as you guys also saw, we're going to need some more of those iron guys, the dark iron ingots. And I think since I'm going to need more of those, it's a perfect time to demonstrate to you guys how to make wrath furnaces. We're going to need this stuff, wrath nether bricks. So let's get, let's see, how am I for netherrack? I'm not too good for netherrack. I can start compressing a bit, but we're going to need more. So let's go over to our compressor here and throw netherrack in, and you can see that you can compress netherrack straight down to nether brick. I'm going to head to the nether here and grab some more. Or I could really just go grab nether brick if I want, because I have a, nether fortress that's not too far away from my base, as I get assaulted by gas. We can see a lot of lava being sucked up here. That's neat. Lovely place. I'll be back. Alright guys, so I've come down into my basement where I've got a bunch of stuff set up, and I felt like this was a nice spot to build the nether brick furnace that will allow me to make dark iron. Cool stuff. It's really not too hard to make at all, really. You just got to build it out like this. Not like that, but like that. That ought to do. Now what happens is nether brick, like netherrack can always be on fire, nether brick can always be on wrath fire. So just have like a little alcove in here that you can go ahead and start your nether fire. Cool. And go ahead and run upstairs and grab some iron blocks. And the way this thing works is that when you place the iron block next to the nether fire here, this stuff, the wrath fire, it'll automatically turn it into this fancy dark iron. Cool. Now sometimes the dark iron might fall into the nether fire and get damaged or destroyed. That's not a good thing. Also, this is a little bit manual, so I like to make a little bit of a tweak in automatic setup here, because you know me, I like to automate things, right? So let's build a really simple way to automate what I just did right there. It's really simple. Let's see, I should have in here something that can be used to automate something along these lines, and maybe I don't. All right, then I'm gonna have to go make it. All right, I'm going to see how much I can automate this. I think I can do it pretty well. I haven't tested this in terribly yet, but what I'm going to do is place down this nifty gadget, the deployer. Now remember, when that receives a redstone signal, it'll deploy whatever's inside, like a block of iron. And over here, I'm going to have a block breaker, and I'm going to set this guy up to pretty much eat whatever's in front of it. And behind the block breaker, I'm going to go ahead and place a chest, which I thought I had with me, but I must not because I forgot to make one. That's okay. At least I have the ingredients to make it. And that can go right there. Cool. So what's going to happen is every time we emit a redstone signal, this guy will deploy. It'll spit out a chest here, and that thing will work pretty well. So let's get ourselves a button just to demonstrate, and some redstone. Okay, now here's the real test that I want to try. From there, will that activate? Alright, see, that was a little too quick because it deployed and ate the block in that fast of a time. So we're going to need to slow that one down a little bit. But basically, we're looking at deploy, let it cook, and then eat the block. Cool. So let's try it like this. I'm going to put this guy here. I'm going to put that guy there. I was thinking about doing this with a timer system, but I think I might just want to do it with a button. Nice and simple. So let's do this. That will deploy the block, and what I needed to do was hit this guy with a screwdriver first. Hey, come back here, you. And make sure that he will go that way, maybe? Probably that way. There we go. So we'll give it like that kind of a delay, right? So that it goes, and that was too quick, I think, right? Yeah, definitely too quick. So a little bit more of a delay, right? Just tweaking it a little bit. Don't be afraid to tweak. Alright. That's probably good. I'm going to give it one more bit of a delay, though, because we want to make sure that it has like a nice long pause. That's a good one right there, because it should cook up pretty quickly when this runs. But you want to make sure that you have plenty of time in there for it to cook. Every now and then it might not make it, but I'm going to test this a little bit. Now, if you really want to, you could set this up with a timer. So what we could have is just put this up here. And we could have a timer set up like so. But first I want to have a lever in my inventory, so let's get one of them. Do I have any sticks? No, awesome. Alright. See how this works? I fail. Alright, so get ourselves a lever. And then we could set it up like this. Okay, you ready? Lever here, and I'll activate it just for now. And there. Now what we can do is we can just set this up on a 2-second interval. Should be plenty. So every 2 seconds it's going to do that. Nice. Might need to bump this up to like 2.5 seconds. That looks better to me. Maybe more. Let's bump it up to 3. Maybe 3.5. That looks good. Nice. So there we go. Pretty much automated. Now, we'll definitely want to turn this off at some point. If we really wanted to be fancy about it, we could do something along these lines. Let's say we got a cobblestone structure pipe, and we put down this guy here with this thing, and I don't know. Okay, that might work. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Move this out of the way and bring this along this corner like so. Oh, you're in the way. Alright, I have to break you for a second just to get this to work, and then I'll have to tweak it a little bit. Alright, so what we can say here is we can say emit a redstone signal under certain conditions. So in this case, just to demonstrate, I'm going to say, items in inventory. Boom. Note that it automatically stopped running. But that's, of course, not what we want to do. We want to have it set up so that when inventory is empty. So there. Now the redstone signal is off, and it's going to allow everything to run again. So as soon as I place some blocks of iron inside the deployer, it's going to allow the timer to run and activate everything. Nifty, right? And as soon as this is empty, the timer stops running, and, everything runs pretty nicely, I think. Oh, see, look, we did get a block of iron in there. Not a big deal. I think this is, 99% accurate. It's pretty darn close. For whatever reason. Oh, the Wrathfire burned out. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to fix that. Wrathfire will eventually burn out back there, so that's what happened. So we can just light it up again, and now it's going to start working. So it's after so many blocks that the Wrathfire will burn out, so keep that in mind. You only want to do a little bit. I'm not sure if the Wrathfire heats itself up over time and like it's back to normal. Like in some instances I've seen it where the Wrathfire seems to last a long time. In other instances I've seen it burn out quickly. I think there's like an X number, like you get so far and eventually like it'll just, stop. But I'm not sure exactly how it works behind the scenes. But basically, this works pretty well. So once we've run out of iron in here, like that, then it'll stop running. Nice. Put the iron back in, and it'll run again. Oh, and just so you guys don't think I forgot, I did hook that fiber cabling back up. Alright, so we've got a bunch of blocks of dark iron now, which I'm pretty excited about, because it means we now have a bunch of dark iron ingots. Probably more than we'll need for a while, but we can get started working on our nifty system of crafting and sorting and such. So, what are we going to do? Well, let's first off make a router. Routers and... Okay, you know what? Lies. First off, clean up inventory. Second off, make routers. Now, in order for this to work, we're going to need several routers. So you can see me making them right here. I decided to go with just a nice even 8. Not bad. And from there, we're going to set up some barrels hooked up to that router. Now, routers can interact with all inventories adjacent to it. So I'm going to have to clean up this stuff just a little bit because it's actually in my way. And I'm going to have to move all these things too. And you'll see where I'm going with this in just a minute. But it should be pretty nifty. Alright, so let's get some things out of the way here. Grabbing my portal gun and moving things around. Alright guys, so here's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and make this an orange painted block, and I might have to tweak things a little differently, but just to give you guys the concept, I'm going to place down the router here. Now the router is a really neat block. You can use it to interact with all the inventories that are touching it. So all 6 of these barrels that are touching this router, the router can put things in and take things out. You just have to tell the router how to do it and where. So right now I've got it set to insert items into the barrels. You could change that to extract if you want, but I'm going with insert. And we're going to be inserting into the top side of the barrel. We could insert from different sides or the bottom or anywhere or even particular slots, but we're going to go into the top side. So that's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and put like a piece of cobblestone in there. Boom. It went up and found the first barrel available and threw some cobblestone into it. Now by default, these guys are going to evenly distribute. See that? Look at that. Nifty, right? But that's probably not what we want in this case. No, not at all. Also, by default, it's only going to move one item at a time, which is, in fairness, pretty slow. So we're going to want to tweak that just a bit and make it so that things move out a stack at a time and won't all go into the same barrel, because of course we don't want that. Now, the intelligent thing about this is that it won't be able to fit into barrels that already have stuff in them. So, for example, if I were to put dirt and sand and gravel nearby, it would go ahead and throw all that stuff into the barrels and then work its way around and only put things where they belong. So if you don't leave any empty barrels here, then there's nowhere for the router to put it except the barrel it's supposed to be in. So let's take a look at that next. What I'm going to do is make an upgrade for the barrel, or for the router. So let's get a router upgrade. This one in particular that we want is the bandwidth upgrade. Now we're going to need some blaze powder and some more of those iron dusts. So, or dark iron, I mean. So blaze, where are you at, blaze powders? There you are. Just get a bunch of this stuff. So we're probably going to need a good handful of these, so that's why I went ahead and grabbed, just a handful. Probably want all of them to have the upgrades for thoroughness, so why don't we just go ahead and do that now. That's enough for 2 more, right? And that's enough for what I need. There we go. Cool. Now to insert these things, what you have to do is shift right click into this guy. And now you have this little button here, and you'll see that right now it's set to bandwidth, move stacks at a time. And on the bottom of the screen underneath my inventory, right down here, when I mouse over this, it tells you can press delete to remove this upgrade, and it goes away. Neat. So that's how you use upgrades. There's actually quite a few of them. There's the item filter. You can tell exactly which items to put and filter around or pull. Also the machine filter. You can specify exactly which machines to interact with. So you can do some really good stuff with that. And then you've got speed boost, increases the speed of the router, and thoroughness makes it so that it fills one inventory before moving on to the next. And then bandwidth we just saw, and ejector is a good one. It's when you want to extract items out of the barrels and then eject them into an adjacent inventory somewhere nearby. So if I had a chest next to this thing, I could pull out of the barrels and put directly in the chest. Nice. But the way this should work now is if I throw a stack of cobble in there, for example, which I should get out of my digger's backpack because I think all my cobble went in there. There we go. So I'm just going to put a half a stack in, and boom, it's instantly going to drop half a stack into that thing. Now let's get some other stuff that we might want to go ahead and put into the barrels. And we're going to want this guy probably to stop being so awesome for a minute. Let's lock him down so that things don't go inside. Okay. There we go. Nice. So we're going to want to probably put some dirt in there and some gravel and some sand. That's at least a good start. And we'll also probably want maybe some netherrack and some cracked sand, because that stuff is pretty common too. So this is basically going to be the, the barrel set of those things. Neat. Now I might also want to put or do I want to set up a different router for this? And now's the tricky part. Like, how many routers to barrel setups do we want? Do we want to stick with what we've got here and, keep it going? Or do we want to add another router and then do more fancy stuff with it? Good question. Let me figure out exactly what kind of design I want, and then I'll be back. All right, I think that looks pretty good, right? Not bad. Now let's move on to the next set of barrels. Now these guys are going to be my mob drop barrels, I think. So we're going to have to separate them by at least one row, because remember, this thing will be able to interact with all adjacent barrels. It's really not that big a deal, but I think we want to make sure that we keep things nice and separated. So let's. Do I want to do this as the mob drop stuff, or do I want to do this with the fancy block stuff? So I'm thinking I could definitely have a few fancy blocks make up this this set here. We're definitely going to want some stone bricks, and what else are we going to want in here? Some smooth stone, some of this. Ooh, soul sand. I should put that somewhere. But marble brick for now, and probably basalt brick. I'm just getting set up with what I think should go in here. Just anything we're going to have like a decent amount of. So maybe just like, the generic stuff right here. I should probably get some standard basalt, and you know what, even like the cracked basalt stuff too that you mine. Yeah, we should probably have that in there somewhere too, just in case we run into a situation where, that's necessary. But I could do something like this. This will look nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Not bad looking, right? Now, finally, we're going to want, what else do we have in here that's all fancy block-like? That stuff's all represented. That's going to go over by the Soren chest stuff. All right. I think that looks good for now. We could probably have bricks, and, if we really wanted to, we could even have, like, yeah, I'm thinking that might not be a bad idea. Yeah, we could do that. So let's put like the bricks here, and then let's actually just grab a few of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cook it up real quick, and just make like, a brick just for fun. Oh, you know what else we need is glass. That's what we need. Yeah, definitely need to have glass represented there. But this way we just, fill it out, but also have it for when needed. There we go. Nice. Cool. And next up should definitely be the mob drop stuff. So from here, we'll just do another 9. And it doesn't have to be 9. Like, we could really expand it if we want, but I'm trying to combine like a router sorting system with pneumatic tubes. Now, in theory, you could say, well, with Direwolf, can't you just have one router connected to everything here? Probably. Yeah. That's probably possible, and I might change it up to do that. We'll see. I'm going to kind of see how it goes with like the router sorting system deal, and if it works out all right, great. But if not, I might want to stick with the multiple router system. So let's get these guys all set up for now. So let's do this. And I've got so much junk in my inventory for the time being, but at least, we'll see. So maybe the less useful stuff on the right. Yeah, maybe on the left. So over here we'll have like the ender pearls and the string and the bones. Those things are pretty useful. And the not so useful stuff over on the other side. You're like medium useful. Cool. We're getting there. All right, I'm going to organize things a little bit more, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, I decided to change it up a little bit. I wasn't going to have this many barrels hooked up to the same router, but I think this might actually work. So I have this whole barrel system set up now. And I even moved in all my growth stuff, so like the trees and the saplings and the seeds and the wheat and the carrots and all that cool stuff here all in the same row. So basically all these things are going to head down the orange line. Now of course I'm going to have to tweak that a little bit to allow that many things to go down orange, but I'm going to make that change right now. And then I've got a cool way to test this system. Alright, so this probably isn't perfect yet, but I want to test it. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to set up right over here my ender chest with the white stuff on it, right? The white top. And we're going to, that's the one that sorts up with our sorting system. I'm going to put that guy right here, I think. So in here, I'm going to place a router, okay? Now notice that each router has certain colored sides. This one, the yellow side is what I'm interested in. So ender chest goes here, okay? We're going to set this router to extract from the bottom sides. So let's see, bottom sides. Extract, and you can see that it's already pulling items out. Cool. Now I want to go ahead and put the that guy in, which means that it's going to extract a stack at a time. But then I'm going to set it up with a ejector module, and if you want, you can apply a redstone signal here. It'll prevent things from running. And when we use the ejector module, now it's going to determine what side it's going to eject out of. We want to eject to the east, which is yellow, and we can see here that now we're pulling out stacks at a time from adjacent inventories, aka the barrels here, and they're all getting sent down to our sorting system downstairs, and we should see everything start flowing properly all the way up into the orange area. Now this is a good test because it's a good representation of what happens when we get a ton of stuff coming in, and here it all starts to show up. So what we should start seeing here is a bunch of items going in here and making their way just fine into the router. Nice. And you can see it handling things pretty well. What we're looking for here is a bounce back. We want to see, like, see, there we go. A couple items are starting to bounce back. That's okay. Once they get to that corner there, or to an intersection, they're going to say, hey, no, wait, it's okay. Now, some of them did bounce back into the overflow chest, which is pretty much, what was a possibility. So I might want to try a speed upgrade, but I don't know if that's going to be really helpful. So we can see here we're getting a little bit of bounce back, not too big a deal, though. So, all right, not bad. We'll keep an eye on this. We're going to see how it makes out. Alright, so we did get a little bit of bounce back, and I think a good solution to that might be to have a second router here. Booyah. Just like that. And we're going to insert into the top sides of any nearby barrels that we can with this. So, let's see what happens. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to interfere with the other router, but let's see. If I put an item in there, is it going to go ahead and be okay? Or is it going to mess around? No, it looks like it's okay. It's going in there okay. Yeah, okay. I think it's smart enough not to mess with this nearby router. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to try this whole setup again, but this time I'm going to pull out everything that's inside this chest. And it's real easy to make this happen. Just move this chest right over here. And boom. Now it should start pulling out rather quickly and dumping it all directly into the ender chest here. And everything should start making its way up here, and we're going to see if we get any bounce back that goes back this way this time. Now I do have a bunch of stuff in here as well that needs to clear out, so I cleared out some space just for that stuff to be okay. There we go. Now, any bounce back this time? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping what happens is, like, between the two routers, they're able to keep up. Basically, if there's any bounce back from one, it does look like there's a little bit heading out back that way. Which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but oh well. Yeah. So that is a lot of stuff moving around, huh? Now, eventually we will get bounce back to the point where it bounces out of there. I actually removed the thing that destroys stuff down there. I removed one of the pipes so that it no longer does get destroyed. But even two routers wasn't fast enough to keep up with that massive income. Now, that's probably not how fast the quarry thing is going to run, but, We just want to make sure that we're good. And one more try with 3 of these things. We're going to see if that is fast enough to keep up with this silly income amount. Oh, maybe not even. Close, but no cigar, I don't think. Very close. Oh, you know what? That might have been okay because we did fill up this chest, didn't we? Or this barrel, huh? We didn't fill up the dirt barrel, though. So what happened? These guys filled up with cobble? Okay. That's not the end of the world. I think I can deal with that. Alright, guys. So, interesting thing going on right now. I have hit the wrapping up point, but I'm having trouble deciding if I want to upload episode 50's upload right now, simply because, this room's a mess, and my sorting system is completely broken at the moment. I'd feel bad releasing this world as is, and then making you guys do all the work, but I also feel like I'm going to make some changes to the way things operate, and I have a lot more to do here, that I don't want to just do that all off camera, and then have you guys get a world and not know how everything's set up. So, I think my solution here, and what I've come up with to do is, wait until episode 51 to release my world. So, I'm going to wrap up episode 50 here, maybe talk about some of the tweaks I'm going to make to the system, because the routers are good, but if they get backlogged, like, it concerns me, right? Like, cobble sits in here and then it's just stuck, like completely stuck, and we have to figure out a way to solve that. So got to figure out backlog, and we've also got to figure out a couple other things just to make sure that this thing works the way we want it to. But I think once we do get it up and running, it should be pretty solid. I might switch out to that multiple routers thing again, just instead of having like them all across here. I think I can still have it so that we have multiple routers connecting to the whole network, so that shouldn't be a problem. But I'll have them spaced out a little bit more and color-coded so that only certain items go to certain routers, so that even if the cobblestone one does get backlogged, we won't worry about like the one that does like, you know, the fancy blocks and the mob drops and the growth material stuff, like any of that getting backlogged. So hopefully for the most part it'll work out pretty well. But with that, yeah, we definitely have to wrap up here. So like I said, I'm going to release episode 51 as the world download, so we'll be back next time. I'll finish up this sorting room. Hopefully it'll come out really good in the end and it'll be nice and smooth. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I'll probably eventually work on an applied energistic system. It's just for now, you know, we don't have that mod installed just yet, and I wanted to go and show you guys how the routers work. They're really awesome devices, like some of my favorite. They can be used for all kinds of neat stuff, and especially interact well with the barrels, as you would expect, because, you know, the barrels are from factorization. So, good stuff right there. Alright, so, hope you guys enjoyed checking out the barrel system. I'll be back next episode to finish it up, and then we'll have a world download on episode 51. This is Direwolf20 signing off on episode 50 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take it easy!